Let me ask you something. You have a $100 in your pocket, you're about to make a trade. The person says, I can give you gold or silver. Most people would say gold without even thinking. But why? Because gold is more valuable, right? But did you know that for a long period of time, silver was actually more valuable than gold? In ancient Egypt, 1 gram of silver was more expensive than 1 gram of gold. So how did that completely reverse? And where does silver stand today? Let's tell the story from the beginning. Silver is one of the oldest metals known and used by humanity, but it was discovered after gold and copper. Because gold is a very lazy metal chemically, it doesn't react with almost anything. It exists in nature in a pure, shiny form, often right on the surface. You don't need advanced mining to find it. You see something shining on the ground, and you pick it up. Silver, on the other hand, is harder to find. It's usually mixed with ores like lead, zinc, and copper hidden deep underground. So you either need technical knowledge or a lot of luck. Scientists have found silver objects dating back to 4000 before Christ, but systematic mining began around 3000 BC in Anatolia and Greece. So how did ancient people separate silver from other metals? They heated the ore, blew air over it, and used a method called cupellation to extract the silver. In other words, a human living in 3000. Before Christ had already developed the fundamental logic of modern metallurgy. That deserves respect. The history of silver is deeply intertwined with the history of civilization itself. At the beginning of the video, we said silver was more valuable than gold in ancient Egypt. That's because Egypt had plenty of gold. But silver was rare and had to be imported from distant lands. Considering how difficult trade was back then, this scarcity made silver extremely valuable. Supply and demand, the unchanging rule of economics, was already in play in 3000 before Christ. Around 800, 700 before Christ, the Lydians in what is now Western Anatolia minted the first coins in history. These coins were made of electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver. So the first monetary system was born in Anatolia using both metals. Later, the Greeks adopted this system and spread silver coins across the Mediterranean. The famous Athenian tetradrachm, the owl coin, dominated Aegean trade. Athens's powerful navy, one of the most advanced military forces of its time, was financed by silver mines in Laurium. In other words, silver didn't just support economies, it shaped the course of history. During the Roman Empire, the silver coin denarius became the standard currency. Over time, the silver content in these coins was gradually reduced, one of the earliest examples of inflation in history. More coins, less silver. The result? Economic instability. I'll let you connect that mechanism to today. In the Ottoman Empire, silver coins were called oksay. During the reign of Mehmed the Conqueror, around 70% of the treasury consisted of silver coins. Controlling silver mines in the Balkans directly increased the empire's economic power. In short, wars were fought not just for land, but for silver. So, why did silver fall behind gold? Here's where things get interesting. Silver walked side by side with gold for thousands of years, sometimes even ahead. But in the modern era, gold became the undisputed leader of the global financial system. Why? First reason, supply difference. Historically, the natural ratio of gold to silver in the earth was about 1 to 15. That's why their price ratio stayed close to 15 to 1 for centuries. But after the 15th century, everything changed. With the Spanish arrival in the Americas, massive silver mines in Bolivia, Peru, and Mexico flooded the world with silver. Sudden supply increase equals lower value. Gold remained scarce. Silver became abundant. Second reason, the gold standard, and central banks. In the 19th and 20th centuries, countries adopted the gold standard, linking paper money directly to gold. Central banks held gold as reserves, not silver. Third reason, the turning point of 1971, the Nixon shock. In 1971, the U.S. ended the dollar's convertibility into gold. The dollar became a fiat currency, but gold kept its safe haven status. Why? Because central banks continued to hold gold, not silver. Fourth reason, silver's dual identity. Gold is mostly used for investment in jewelry. Silver is both an investment and an industrial metal. Electronics, solar panels, medical devices, mirrors, photography, batteries. Because of this, silver prices are much more sensitive to economic conditions. When the economy grows, industrial demand rises, silver goes up. When the economy slows, demand falls, silver drops. This volatility makes large investors cautious. In short, silver got stuck between two roles, money and material. In 1980, something extraordinary happened. The Hunt brothers, billionaire investors from Texas, along with some Saudi partners, tried to control the silver market. Their plan was simple: buy massive amounts of silver and dominate the supply. And for a moment, it worked. Silver prices skyrocketed to $50 per ounce. At the time, that was astronomical. Then what happened? The U.S. government stepped in, regulations were imposed, trading was restricted, the price collapsed. By 1988, the Hunt brothers were found guilty of market manipulation and declared bankruptcy. This event is remembered as Silver Thursday. The lesson? Silver markets are highly vulnerable to manipulation and shocks. Gold? Much harder to control because its market is far larger and deeper. Let's talk about now. As of April 2026, silver trades around $32.35 per ounce. Note, at the beginning of 2026, it briefly spiked to $121, showing just how volatile it can be. Today, the gold-to-silver ratio is around 70-80 to 1. That means you need 70-80 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. Historically, this ratio averaged around 15 to 1. Because of this, many experts believe silver is currently undervalued. Silver isn't just in jewelry stores. It's inside the most critical technologies of the 21st century. Solar energy is expanding rapidly, and each solar panel uses about 20 grams of silver. Electric vehicles use more silver than traditional combustion cars. As EV production rises, so does silver demand. 5G infrastructure also requires more silver than previous technologies. And silver has natural antimicrobial properties. It's used in hospital equipment, smart fabrics, and more. Here's something surprising. It's estimated that the world only has about 52 years of silver reserves left. If no new deposits are found, known reserves could be depleted by 2078. That's why long-term demand expectations remain strong. So, gold or silver? We couldn't skip this question. Gold, more stable, less volatile, held by central banks as reserves. Safe haven during crises. Outperformed silver over the last 15 years. Silver, much more affordable. Linked to real economic activity, potentially undervalued based on historical ratios. Higher risk, but higher potential return. In simple terms, for stability and long-term security, gold. For higher potential and a bit of excitement, silver. And one more thing, they complement each other. Most experienced investors hold both. Silver teaches us something important. Value doesn't come from rarity alone. It comes from perception, trust, institutional preference, and historical acceptance. Gold won the race, but silver never dropped out. For over 6,000 years, it has stayed with humanity as money, as jewelry, as technology. And now the real question is, with the 21st century's energy transition and technological boom, will silver finally step out of gold's shadow? Will it write a new chapter? Time will tell. This video is not investment advice. It simply tells the story of silver.